On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, Grail Concert is coming. Also, LOSTBELT 6 is coming. You probably already knew that part, but now we know more. And I will tell you more later. Hi, I'm one of your hosts, Omega, and I'm going to try and avoid saying for my own sanity. With me, as always, is Lucky. This is not a joke. He is currently literally looking through old memes we have.
It's true. I'm actually cleaning up my old folders and stuff because I'm getting my life in order. And speaking of getting your life in order, I do hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka A Concert for the Soul. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest and FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events about the JP and the version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers, remember to cheer responsibly and freaking shower before the show.
It's important. But yes, it's probably going to be a little bit of a fast and loose, high-speed, low-drag show tonight, because there's news, but there's also not news, as it were. But we've got a few things to talk about, and also mailbag, of course, but at least one of these things will probably prompt some discussion from us, from the Peanut Gallery, from the people in the comments. Speaking of the Peanut Gallery, hey, before we go any further, we'd like to remind you real quick, this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Adam DeHart, Blacklist OG, Palmy Zed, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Fight the Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, JDV 9000, Gesture the Fate, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, and Baron the Crow. And if you like what we do, want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out and supports us. And pays my tax bill. Yeah, there's some names shifted around. I made sure to go in and double-check and resort all our patron credits and shoutouts and stuff. Technically, this may mean that there are some of you patrons who have paid for a annual membership and have some months left, but have since stopped renewing payment and are thus no longer credited. To that, I apologize, but I have to keep track somehow, and it's hard sometimes with logistics and people flitting in and out. I do not begrudge those of you who cancel your Patreonage. It's more just that I have to bookkeep. I don't even remember where this one came from.
I'm just pulling shit out.
I remember sometimes in General. This is why General has that reputation for memes. I'm just post things from my mem folder. Anyway, the memes will serve to extend the show. But, before we do that, let's check out with everybody's favorite idol, Mash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Did you see what I did there, Internet? Did you get it? Okay, cool, thumbs up. Anyway, it's time for Wake the Fuck Up 7 for some pro tips. I can say that because we're 3 minutes into the recording. I don't have any real gameplay style pro tips, but I am eyeballing the times that are announced for the Grail Concert, which is, technically the 17th, I believe. It's starting an early Monday morning, but at least according to the handy-dandy hook that lets us know when news announcements are made, that's going to be starting at 5 a.m. Eastern Time, so that's probably going to be a 5-hour maint, I would think. So look out for that. Look alive. You got a big long maint to go worry about. If there is a reason for this, I'm going to assume it's because A, there are extra mechanics in this, and also B, there are large files of music which probably need to be uploaded and put places.
Probably.
But yeah, so keep that one in mind. As usual, it is, as the people at home say, a dead week. The rank-ups are caught up, and we're in a pre-release segment where it's mostly, hey, are you all caught up and are your relevant servants leveled? So no real big records or all the world's evil. I did, immediately jump my John's second skill to, 8 after the rank up, but I didn't go all the way to 10. And so I've rounded out the skill levels, but didn't really max anybody out. So just normal, taking care of business before an event kind of a thing. So no big-o achievos and no evilos. Nothing really to be concerned about. I mean, you can argue that maybe I should be rolling on that shooting rate up to get that AoE assassin, but I'm holding my bones. So that means we can swiftly move on to, did you finish your master missions? I am literally holding my bones, actually. Even though Spiritrons are newer, I am still exchanging bones at the monthly exchange, because I use a lot of those. Anyway, your master missions. To complete your master missions this week, you will need to perform 30 FP summons, defeat 15 Sabers, Riders, Assassins, or Berserkers, not counting servants or certain bosses. Defeat 15 Archer, Lancer, Caster enemies, not counting servants or certain bosses. Defeat 15 humanoid enemies, complete 5 quests, and then complete 10 quests. So, basically, do anything. You can absolutely just smash this out ahead of time by doing Fuyuki. I'm pretty sure skeletons are humanoids, and then you just need to make sure to beat up the right classes of them. So yeah, you can probably get this done pretty fast. Just make sure to do your FP summons. But also, do remember that you will not be able to engage in the Grail Concert before these are over, so you will have to do some dailies, or, like I said, do some Fuyuki farming to get this to count. I know some people were, talking about maybe Grail Concert will be alive, and this will probably be very easy to do on that one, but it won't be, so keep that in mind. Little shame with the FP summon, because I'm sure some people will be hunting for a 3-star CE, but just roll your bones. Alright, well, let's keep on keeping on. Keep calm and carry on. I wish I had a rule of 3 there, but I don't. I'll come up with one later. Anyway, JP News, Evocation Festival Part 2. Nothing really huge to write home about, just another wave of banners have been revealed. I don't believe there's any further newsies, though obviously we may get some more stuff. This goes from the 10th until the 21st of April, by the way, these sets of banners. So you've got a Raiko Ibaraki banner, an Ibuki Chiyome banner, and a Bramante Summer Martha banner. Yes, Summer Martha, again, even though she's also was on Raid Up with Quetz in the previous block. I don't really know if these are super particularly themed. Like, Raiko was Onigaishima with Rider Kentucky, so that works. And Bradamante was also that Christmas event, so that works. I don't really know where the Ibuki Chiyome is coming from, but I won't say no to it. She's a limited servant. She deserves a Raid Up, Unfortunately, I don't believe there have been any other future updates there, so it's cruise controlling on banners for now, continuing to space out some time before your new event comes out, though obviously a lot of people are waiting with bated breath for those updates that are supposed to come in spring. And obviously, I mean, in general, if I was FGOJP, I probably wouldn't want to go too ham on anything, considering, I mean, yes, I know why Ibuki and Chiyome are on the same Raid Up. I don't know why they're on a Raid Up in the Evocation or Spirit Festival, because they aren't event, associated. Other than Raiko and Kentucky were both in Heian Kyo, but that's, where that Raid Up would come in, so, yeah, intriguing. Anyway, as I was saying, if I was FGOJP, I probably wouldn't want to go too ham on any, banners or attempts at big sells, because they did reveal that Tiamat is coming, so I'm sure a lot of people will be feisty. Hell, there were people who were even though there was going to be 2 months of difference, there were people who, the moment the arcade collab was announced, were like, yeah, I'm not rolling for Pope Joan. That's not going to happen. I'm saving. Because, they were assuming stuff would be happening. And it is. But, you gotta wait a while. So we'll see how that shakes out. That means we can move swiftly ever on to NA stuff. Because we do have some NA stuff. First of all, we have the... yes, I have copied the full text of this. The Fate Grand Order Waltz in the Moonlight Lost Room X Fate Grand Order Collaboration Event Pre-Release Campaign. Apparently every single one of those words was necessary. Anyway, the pre-release started the 10th, goes on until the 23rd, so you got several day periods to get in there. There is a commemorative quest, which gives you a CE and also some Waltz plot, including 3D Mash model. Hopefully your phones are all doing okay. But we actually got some preamble for what the hell Waltz was supposed to be about, and probably what this collab event is going to be about. We talk about a ghost in the Moonlight Lost Room, and, wanting us to dance and stuff, and costumes, and costume dancing. It's a thing. It's kind of a hit in the climacticus that, we didn't get the actual app, but sorry, just checking that everything is going okay. I'm real, right? That awkward pause will be cut out of the final version, but I would like the record to show that nobody responded, and nobody was typing, so yeah, I can't actually tell. I may have briefly phased out of reality for a second there. I did hear a sound like my power flickering, so I'm drawing on too much electricity. Alright, well, now that my existential dread has passed, we can talk more about the really longly named pre-release campaign for the Waltz collab. No, somebody brought a classic. That's a very old quote. But there was not just the quest. You've got a login bonus for quartz and stuff, half AP embers during this time period, double suck, double FP, half AP rank ups, and interludes for the Grail Concert servants, so, the ladies that are involved. The first servant command code has been added to the RP shop. I believe it's Exchange 1. There are new rank ups for Jeanne d'Arc and Helena. For Jeanne, this is her very important, it finally happened, upgrade to true name discernment. So finally switching us out from where we were to the more useful version of that skill. Most long-term players are probably familiar with what it did before, but basically, originally, it's just a, 30% debuff to a single enemy servant's damage, NP damage for 1 turn. Very minimal effectiveness, especially as the game has gone on, so we finally gave it a big old buff. And now it does reduce any enemy's NP damage. It also reduces their defense for 1 turn and then for 3 turns. So it's a total of 50% defense down for 1 total turn, and then etc. stuff in there, which is nice. Softens them up. I'm ready to die. I'm trying to remember. I think I saw that this originally had a typo. I thought it said 1 turn and 1 turn when I unlocked it, but I'm sure it says it correctly now. I may as well just have been reading poorly in the moonlight. And then, what was Helena's bump up? It was to her Mahatma, right? Yeah, okay. It was the Strength in 1, upgrades her second skill, so now it's a self-battery for 20 to 30%. Who could have guessed? Also, probably pretty helpful there. And also, there are, as I alluded to earlier, there are summon banners for Jeanne and Shuten. No. I was about to ask, are they the only 5 stars that are in this event that aren't new? But no, that's not technically true. But Maeve will be getting her banner later, so we're dealing with economies of banners here. And then, lastly, we have the actual announcement for what is the Waltz and Moonlight Lost Room collab event. But I have just compressed it down to the important part. Bedazzled! ! Grail Concert! ! Crane returns in Idol's favor. No punctuation. So, as I mentioned before, the event actually starts the 17th. That's early on the 17th, by the way. And goes until the 30th, so it'll round out, the back half of this month. And basically, everything I outlined in the pregame last week, which you should go watch if you did not already, and maybe you should go watch it again just to refresh yourself. All of that should proceed as planned, but there's an additional login bonus sequence for this, which will net you a extra CE and some stuff. I believe this is stuff we never got for actual Moonlight Lost Room elements.
That makes sense.
Like some Saint Courts and a commemorative CE. Shit like that. So, a chance to get some extra vibe. Make sure to log in every day, everybody. Get all your stuff. And as predicted, because we have Pity now, will be broken into separate Crane and MHXA banners. So I wrote that as MXHA in my notes, which very briefly bamboozled me. And the specific servants of Nido and Hassan of Serenity, almost said Assassin of Serenity, that also kind of works. Etymology, everybody. But they'll be on raid up all the time on both of those, so no rotation, just 2 separate banners. If you actually want to get MHXA, you gotta wait a couple of days before that banner starts, but it'll be in there. Alright. Now I'm going to before we move to our next topic, I'm going to take a brief hold. Brief hold? Because I hear some weird squeaking noises outside in the rest of the house. It could just be a TV, but it could also be related to something electronic, because as I said, I did hear a weird, power down noise behind me, so I'm going to pause the audio and check back in a sec.
A lot of these things are insane stuff. Just rebuild from scratch, Lucky. Rebuild from scratch. All this stuff, gone.
He's starting fresh. Anyway, we're back. It was just TV noises. I have stuffed a blanket under my door to cut down on it. We're all okay. Nothing's on fire. How are you? Anyway, let's move into the topic that will almost assuredly be somewhere in the title of this video to get you to click on it. And also is probably going to be what most people are excited for under discussion. Not to down-talk the Grail Concert event. Seems very lovely. Lots of cool costumes, some fun music stuff, interested in things. You guys should, hold out for the Wanted for Miss Crane in the not-too-distant future as well. Working on that one. So that's got all scripted and assets and shit. Actually, hey, for patrons, while we're showing off stuff, let me actually, for our Patreons live. Remember, you can join our patron chat at any level. But you need to be a gold or higher tier patron to watch along. But hey, I'll show patrons a couple days early what I did for the Miss Crane thumbnail, because I know what the audience wants. Big hats. But yes, so, obviously,
all this forever.
I don't want to, downplay how cool that'll be, but that's a discussion for next week. The big hot thing this week is, at SakuraCon, there was a panel. I don't believe the panel was streamed anywhere. I don't remember seeing any links or anything about it.
I don't remember seeing it either.
But it happened, and at that panel was first shown and then shortly released to the internet a special dev diary, not a numbered dev diary, but just a dev diary from SakuraCon from Kano Yoshiki, our Part 2 director. This is where we got a lot of the information specified earlier about the timing for the pre-release, got to see the start of the, press ramp for Grail Concert, got to see our logo, so that it would be happening mid-April, got to start seeing costumes and stuff, those kinds of graphics. But also, at the end, he had a little extra special message for us, and wanted to clarify, LOSTBELT 6 will drop, that initial release anyway, we assume, will be hitting in early June. So, Robin's attempts to gaslight you all with me were incorrect. It will not be May, but it will be June. I feel like that's pretty on par abouts where we thought everything would be. Assuming, the normal pacing of every stuff, that will be there'll be a pre-release in either, very late May into earliest of June. Then the actual Part 1 will drop with the banners. And then, while it will probably still take them a couple of weeks to, fire through, also, yes, I believe that marks that our May big event should be the summer rerun, which will be very weird. Very weird to do, even a rerun, a summer camp horror-themed scenario in May. But I will get a chance to finally get that 5th copy of that gosh dang CE, so yeah, it's a full rerun, too. Unfortunately, I'll probably just have to do tickets for VR Tomoe because of the timing. Curses. Curse my luck. And curse you, Summer. But yeah, so, this also means that while I think there will still be some delay, there's not going to be a lot of delay probably between the Part 1 and Part 2, right?
Probably not, no.
So, the first of it will drop, in early June, and then probably 1 or 2 weeks after, maybe the full 2 weeks? I don't know. We'll see how the banners shake out. That'll be the second block. And then, obviously, I believe, once again, AX is going to be the weekend of July 4th, pretty sure?
It always is.
Yeah. So, that's also, obviously, we talked about where they're going to have that world premiere of the Strange Fake OVA, stuff like that. So, that will, line up nicely with making sure we've got all our shiny new SSRs before the Lucky Bag. Some people have been wondering if that means Oberon's going to actually hit before Anniversary. I'm pretty sure no. I, again, don't know what the actual timeline will be like, but I'm reasonably certain that if they added an SSR before they did a Lucky Bag, that would obligate them to put them on the Lucky Bag, which is just asking for fucking trouble. So they're not going to do that. You'll probably get a release of the third chunk of LOSTBELT 6, big cliffhanger before Anniversary, weeks worth of Anniversary promo, LOSTBELT 6 comes in, slaps you out of the way, and then we're free and clear for the next summer. Which, judging by the way, he's got story stuff for his Ascensions too. Yeah, no, okay, yeah, they definitely are releasing him early. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble if you were holding out hope, but it does not make logical sense in the terms of the mechanics of the game. It's just going to be too much of a pain in the butt programming-wise. Anyway, yeah, so it sounds like, from what I understand of LOSTBELT 6, and considering how fucking long it is, I'm very curious, if people have talked about if we're going to show off the stack of papers anywhere. I do think, I have to rewatch it again, but I think Kano Yoshiki said that this part was he called it was written by Nasu in English for us, to remind everybody. It feels like a thing I saw. But from what I understand, as usual, LOSTBELT 6 should be emotionally destructive, so it'll be nice to get our palate cleanser of a summer afterward. We should also probably have, for the rest of July, to make up for it, we might see a breakout for the Nerofest as well. How long, does anybody in chat remember how long the Nerofest rerun ran in JP? My L's and R's fucked up. It was a full 2 weeks? Yeah. Oh, hold on, let me do some fucking math. And the summer rerun is 2 or 3 weeks. I'm calculating.
Computing.
Analyzing. Calculating route. Because, Grail Concert's going to be the full 2 weeks, and it's going to run until literally the end of April. So you've got, 4.5 weeks in May. So yeah, we got a question. Unless there's some kind of, essential update in the summer rerun, I would expect that will probably get moved until July. Because we got a Grail friend. Though they could push the Grail front. That's only, like, what, a week? Well, usually the events run for 2 weeks, but you know what I mean. They've only got a week's worth of maps. But there's 4.5 weeks in May. Nerofest is 2 weeks, so we will probably get that in May, because that's just a good way to build up everybody, for mats and shit before the new story drop. There's also a pre-release they need to make sure to schedule and script and everything. Let me pull up the JP schedule. This actually ties into at least one mailbag comment later. Okay, what am I looking at? So go back 2 years. So yeah, I mean, technically the Nerofest, came out to buy time between the two parts, so that's probably not happening. That we can be reasonably certain. I don't think they're going to have time to interrupt the story and banners for 2 weeks for a Nerofest. Resumify the audio. I was just saying that, so no matter what happens, it feels like definitely what we're going to get next is going to be the Camelot Grail front, because that's just when it happened in JP. It was right after Grail Live, so that will definitely be what we do next. The question is what we do after that, because what happened in JP... Sorry, what was that?
We still got a little bit of time in there.
It's true. Yeah, I was saying that we've got about 4.5 weeks in May, and then obviously early June is not, necessarily June 1st, so there's, probably that whole week left and start the second week in June. But the next thing that happened right away after the Grail front was the summer rerun, which was in Japan very odd to be in the middle of May, and just as odd in English. The main weirdness comes from the fact that obviously there's the, pre-release, there's a main quest clear campaign and all that stuff, there's the initial release of Avalon LaFay, then there's an interlude campaign that happens after that, and the Nerofest for 2 weeks. So, I really don't know about that one. Like, we could, do the Nerofest first, and, do that for 2 weeks, and then do the interlude campaign early, maybe? If that's okay. I don't actually know.
Same, it's up in the air.
Yeah, I mean, there's... So let's see, what's that summon? Oh, that's a very interesting summon banner. That'll be Anastasia, Mandricardo, Salieri, and Canis. So that'll be neato. A couple of those guys are story-locked. But that will actually have skill upgrades for Saber Astolfo, Canis, and Salieri. So I don't know if they would put that early, because that might fuck with, just the general order of things, mechanically speaking. Like, I don't know if they like to give buffs early. Let's see. But there was a block memorial quests. Sorry, I'm actually looking at the anniversary. This does not have the full list of, that's right, there was a commemoration campaign, and then the anniversary was a little late. Everything was delayed. Okay, so, let's see, 10 great campaigns. Because I could see them working the interlude campaign into anniversary, right?
Right.
That's just more banners and, more quests to do. So yeah, I guess we're gonna... Obviously, we have to get through our 2 weeks of Grail Life first.
Yep.
And after that, like I said, I'm reasonably certain the next thing that will happen is going to be the Camelot-themed Grail front for 2-ish weeks. What we decide to do after that is going to be the very interesting part, because that should be the summer rerun, but JP is not above... not JP. NA is not above scooching some stuff around to make more sense, but to save time, they have kept stuff the way they are. For instance, we got our very early Nightingale Christmas rerun last year. That was in October?
Yes. Late.
Yeah, so I could see them just proceeding down the line as normal, and then just basically using the Nerofest to basically buy time between, not part 1 and part 2, but part 2 and 3. The normal stuff. Because in JP, part 1 and part 2 were about a month apart, and that is simply not feasible. I'm thinking they're going to be 2 weeks apart for us. So hold on to your bones, y'all. Shit's about to get crazy. So yeah, it's going to be very intense. If you have your own reasons or speculations, chat, let us know in the comments what you feel like will come first or come after. Like I said, I feel pretty reasonable that Grail front first, and then it's a big question mark. But there you have it. Early June, number 1, the Big Bonkling. It will commence. Don't worry, it won't sneak up on you too hard. There's still a pre-release, so there's only so much sneaking they can do. But there's going to be a lot of banners. A lot of banners. That should work out just fine, though. At the rate I am releasing... Yeah, because let's see. I released LOSTBELT 2 today, as of this recording. 1, 2, 3... Ta-da! 6... Yeah, we're already on LOSTBELT 2, and there's 6 weeks left before we even hit the first week of June. I mean, I obviously hope they move the interlude campaign up, because I want that Canis skill upgrade. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Nearfest could be a good chance to, refuel everybody's coffers full of skill gems and shit after we get all our brand new servants. Like I said, I personally would prefer if they moved the summer rerun later, just because I would like to be able to roll on that salty run back for summer Tomoe. But, Anyway, the week counting there, I just realized I started that thread and didn't finish. The week counting there is me talking about our recaps of our previous thoughts on LOSTBELT. LOSTBELT 2, out now. Check it out. Please check it out. I did so much extra editing because I had to splice it together from 2 and just started catching ums and uhs.
We do better with those now.
Yes. I think it wasn't until LOSTBELT 5 where we weren't really ham, but I think it may have been as early as 4. Well, actually, it could have been as early as 3. I guess I'll find out, next week when I start working on the edit. But, yeah, I see I did an there because I'm not scripted.
Oh, whoopsie.
But, as I was saying, we tended to start, if not straight up scripting our thoughts, actually, writing down more concrete notes. I could tell I was working from some notes for LOSTBELT 2, but they must have been a lot looser because, oh boy, there's a lot of pausing. LOSTBELT 1 still had Ghost Lucky. That had a lot of audio errors as well that I had to catch. 2 was just city. I would go, I would say 2 words, and then I would throw in another because I was mid-thought and clearly had not worked ahead on this. We do get better about that as time goes on. And, to be fair, when I dropped the LOSTBELT 1-1, that episode came out almost literally 3 years before I went back and posted that recap. So, we're working with great big spans of time here, y'all.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. But seriously, check those out. You'll be able to see us kind of evolve as we go over time. And as I said, I believe we improve our craft. We definitely improve our audio quality.
Yeah!
But after all that discussion of LOSTBELTs and banners and placements, that does bring us to the end of the Skelegram news.
Alright, well then I'm gonna steal the attention of everyone here and let everyone know that it is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. I would say this would give a chance for Omega to rest his voice, but he's gonna spend most of his time talking as usual anyway. Thankfully, this week we only have 9 entries submitted. Lucky is going to try and make it a habit to post the mailbag on Wednesdays. I made a calendar and I put a note on it. It says huge success. That is a lie, but I want to say it anyway.
Much like the cake.
Much like the cake. And unfortunately, in my purging of my tabs on Chrome, I have gotten rid of the mailbag here. So, hold on for 1 second while I get it back.
Chaos!
Chaos! Let me see. Recently closed. Look at actually, when was the last time I had cake? Honest to goodness cake. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since I had cake.
I have a pretty good sweet tooth, but I haven't been really necessarily eating it any recently, and I think I'm starting to get a little sad over it. Cake does not help my waistline, and I need to lose that. Let's see here.
I had a couple of slices of cheesecake around the Easter time, because, family treats.
Oh, that is not it!
Definitely. And see, the beauty of audio editing is that all this dead air will be cut out. When we don't say anything, that just goes away.
It goes away. But I have found it once more. Huzzah. So, this first one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado, who says, Dear Lucky and Omega, if you could pick one Japan only Fate property to get an official English translation, what would it be? Thanks and keep up the good work. Your shows are some of the highlights of my week. Oh, there's a read more. P.S. I really do enjoy the LOSTBELT recap videos and seeing how your opinions and theories have evolved over time. Have you considered doing the same for EOR or maybe some later Part 1 chapters? Well, to answer your first thing, mine's actually very easy. If I was to pick one Japan-only Fate property, while I would like to say the OG Fate visual novel, I'm actually having to go with CCC because I have waifu reasons for that. While we do have Fate Extra over here, it is on the PSP. Lucky does actually own the special edition of that. That sits on itself, very pretty. We never actually got the CCC, what do I want to call it, expansion? See, now that Omega has called out the every time I hear myself doing it, I get super conscious. Thank you, Omega. You have traumatized me this recording.
I have cursed you with knowledge, it's true.
You have. But what about you, Omega?
Yeah, I mean, the obvious answer is Fate Stay Night.
Mhm.
But we've talked about this before. There are animated adaptations of all those routes out there, so they are accessible. Purely for, like, self-interest reasons, it would probably be, I guess technically if you want to say the JP-only part, but in general, the El Meloy light novels. Like, novels? Can't speak
that's another,
words either.
That's
But that's
another one.
just, the light novels in general are very underrepresented over here, despite the fact that light novels and manga are a huge slice of the American, like, book buying market.
They really are.
It is. It's growing all the time. So it's kind of a shame that they don't really bring that Fate action over here. And I say El Meloy because that's just personally what my wheelhouse is. I loved how when they did the anime adaptation, they felt the need to explain and illustrate, the difference between, who done it and why done it. Just break down classic mystery tropes. So that just really appeals to me. And so I love an opportunity to actually read through them because they only adapted like half the stories and there's a sequel series in the works. So
as for your second bit, I am going to say probably not because Omega's already listening to these part ones and probably slightly cringing on how we sound like the Lost Belt one. That's only going to sound worse the further back we go.
Also, technically, I don't know if it ever came out because it was really long, but I believe we did record a really long recap of all of part one with Voice of St. Quartz once. I'm pretty sure that was a thing we did. I don't think that one ever came out because of editing monstrosity, but it was a thing we did. And it's not work I feel like I would want to repeat. I don't even know if we had like the same level of recap action for like big story. I guess for part one, probably, but I don't know for those early parts. We were just rushing some shit.
Yeah, shame on that. Actually, we've never talked about that. I don't think it's our story to tell, really. So with that, still probably not. Maybe instead of maybe one day we'll go maybe one day we can go reread the stories and give thoughts over it again. Maybe see if we have changed our thoughts on how stories play out now. But that'd be something we have to set up. Yeah. Maybe once we get done with Lost Belt 6, because it's gonna be a while since we get 7. We might need something to fill the air. So who knows? We might do some Let's Talk FGO specials. I'm out maybe because I'm trying to come up with a title on the spot. Don't at me.
Yes, no, we're thinking this through.
We can do we can call it Let's Talk Fate Grand Order, the Fuyuki revisit or something. And we can go rewatch the story, look at the battles, and look at how we would have played then and how we play now. I think that could be something interesting. Pencil that in.
Put that in. Reorder's better. I could only think of the rereading thing, and I'm like, that's not good. Titling project is not always my greatest thing. You want me to make a clickbait title for a video? I'm there. Lost Belt 6, early June? ! He says, implying that that's not literally the title of this video right now.
Lucky only shakes his head. But we shall move on. So thank you very much for that. The next one comes from the Tyrant King, who's trying to get through the dead weeks of JP.
These do seem a little dead right now.
A little bit. Question. Hey guys, with all the pre-campaign for our Arcade collab coming soonish, who do you think will get rank-ups or animation updates? Also, who should I play Battleman Network? I'm about to say a lot of Nintendo here, so give me a second here. Also, should I play Mega Man Battle Network or Pokemon Stadium first? Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah 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 wah. And hope you have a great evening. Oh, rank-ups. It is a collab, so I'm expecting there's probably going to be 2 or 3.
There should be a handful of featured servants.
Well, that's the thing about the collab necessarily. We might... Well, who knows? They might do a Lady Avalon rank up. She might be involved. I don't know if she necessarily needs one, though.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she's not out over here in NA, so I actually have no idea how her kit plays out. I'm pretty sure some people could be all like, oh, yeah, she does this, this, and this, and I'm just going to be all like, eh. So I don't know if she necessarily needs that, but...
I mean, whether or not we get Sita or not. Rama might still need some extra juice. I know, and obviously in NA he just got a rank up, but he's still kind of a weird unit, being a saber who takes out, demonic enemies. And it's not like they can't give a man a double NP upgrade. Looks glad. Could see some of the coups. I don't know if all of our coups are in order.
I don't know. I'm still hoping that we get this Atana welfare for the event. That's what I have my finger on the pulse for. That's what I want.
That'd be pretty solid welfare. Yeah,
that would be a pretty solid welfare.
See.
But
I mean,
like actual
we could
coups,
technically
I don't
see
think so.
Nemo get a rank up because there's some of that crossover with Noah.
I
I feel like
I don't know. I don't know if they're
Da
going to be
Vinci
like.
was Da Vinci Small was a big one, but like I don't think she needs a rank up. Her kit's really good. I don't know if there's
No.
anybody better at fucking running over doors.
Depending, like I'm not entirely sure what they might do, but we do know that Arcade has some really good costumes that we just can't get, such as the Santas, because there's Santa Fran, Santa Helena, and Santa Suzuka. If they try to involve those in any way, we can see some rank ups for them. I don't know if they need rank ups though. Suzuka,
Yeah.
and actually, I think Helena needs damage buffs more than anything. If I
Yeah,
remember
Helena's in a
correctly.
very weird spot. Has her NP been upgraded? We'll give her more NP damage. Fran is pretty good. I don't think she's ever going to be like as great as Lancelot for 4-star quick berserkers, but that's just because the man has a 10 hit count NP. There's not a lot you can do about that.
No.
I as one of my few Bond 10 servants, I swear by my Fran. So she's a
But-
great damage clear, but
Other than that, I'm not entirely sure what units they might bring to bear, because they're not going to give. We're going all the like any of the arcade exclusive ones. They're not going to need rank ups. They're going to be released right then and there. Like
yeah, they're
ta-da!
gonna be brand new.
They're going to be brand new. So the question of who will be rank ups is who's the most likely to show up in the event. And considering it's we knew this collab was coming, but still, it's a very weird collab, guys.
Yeah. Story-wise, all Arcade did was cover the Part 1 areas, so if there's any Part 1 servants who maybe need a little bit of patching, we might see that. Don't think there's a lot of those left, because obviously a lot of those guys are pretty early, but there could be a few there. There could be some oddball ones, like we could see somebody in chat just mentioned it, we could see our Jacques Stamole get an upgrade. Again, I don't know if she needs any rank ups, because her kit seems pretty laser focused. I don't think C-Tonight was involved in Arcade, so that one wouldn't work out directly. Yeah, it's an odd one.
It's an odd one. We've given a few ideas, but unfortunately, I don't think there's anything that we can necessarily nail down. Again, we don't know exactly who will be showing up, so it's hard to be like, yes.
Hopefully, by the time we record next show,
There we go. Snap.
they will need to do like a whatchamacallit pre-release
Campaign?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pre-release. And maybe they'll pre-post the bonus list. For instance, they did do that for us for Grail Concert. They've actually posted the complete bonus list well ahead of time, so you know who be
If
getting
we get-
rank ups and upgrades.
Yeah, if we get a bonus list, we can probably give a better idea of who might be getting one. So, put a pin in this one, and please submit the same question once that list comes out.
Same with an animation update. I don't know if there's anybody who really needs them, but this could be an opportunity to get some, again, because the story of Arcade was mostly drawn over the original, Timeless Temple stuff. Do some people still have some caster balls? Well, if those
Yeah, I think
exist, they
Matahari
need
does.
to fix. That's right, we have never fixed Matahari's animations, have we? That I genuinely don't know if anybody understands what the hell they would do with it. They can come up with something, though, I'm sure. Leonidas could also use an animation update still, I think. I think he's still pretty basic.
So, with that, though, we shall move on. Thank you very much. And this next one comes from Procrastinator is glad Lucky is writing things down, as that has made him remember to do stuff easier. It's true. I opened up Google Calendars, I put in all my stuff, I looked at my time, I was like, I don't got a lot of free time. But they say, do you think FGO will eventually require the latest version of Android to run? I heard that JP now requires Android 10 to run, but that may be incorrect. Sending well wishes. Well, thank you for your well wishes. I appreciate them. And make sure your day is going well as well. I don't know about the JP requiring Android 10 to run. Can anyone confirm or deny that?
No, the most recent news was that starting in June of this year, you will only be able to download and run FGO on Android 7.0 and higher.
Ah.
Now, I assume that means that depending on how many years it takes FGO to quote-unquote finish, they may eventually need to push that up to 10, but for the moment, 7 is going to be the cutoff.
And technology marches on. I don't think if FGO will ever be at a state where it needs the most current gen of software to run, because that will potentially cut off potential players, because not everyone has the hottest late thing. Geez, I'm playing FGO on a Samsung, I believe this is a Galaxy 8, Galaxy 9. I'm planning on upgrading probably sometime later this year, but this phone's old. It's only like, 4 or 5 years old? But it's old. I'm gonna toss this thing. But it still runs FGO. Just a little slowly at times.
Yeah, and also FGO is itself, the app is actually like about to be 8 years old? This is the 8th anniversary, right? This year in JP?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, obviously, there's only so much bootstrapping you can do to such an old app. Obviously, letting it raise the RAM requirements to fit better hardware for the consumers makes it easier to do more stuff, but ultimately, the game probably can't flex too far in the tech because it's just was not designed to do that. It's, an older piece of software.
Hey, Patreon chat, did you just hear Omega Robot really hard there? Please confirm.
Oh, did I? Well, luckily the audio would be fine, because it's recording my end. You sound okay to me. Interesting.
Copy that, Patreon command.
Do I sound okay to you now?
Yeah. It was just for a brief moment, but I just wanted to see if it was maybe on my end.
Okay. Well, we're back.
We are back. So, that is that. Let us keep moving on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Soul of the Light Mode Discord. Well, we have a heathen in our midst.
I really hissed and recoiled for your last week. I'm not going to do that every week.
In honor of the upcoming event, and all of FGO, what are your favorite costumes/Spiriton dress? If thinking all of them about them would take too long, just say whichever one comes to mind first. I say which is mine, but that may sway what you say, if you opted for option 2. Good day and good vibes. Wah 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 wah. Wah 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 wah. Haha, you fool! You think you submitting your opinion will sway mine? Lies. I am fearsomely famous for how fixated I am on my feelings. I got some more alliteration in there. Good job, me. But thinking about costumes, I'm okay with taking a few moments to think about this.
Sure. I'll fire up a list. People who want to look.
Costumes.
Yes, I have already scrolled the list.
Well, like I said, Tomacat's roller girl costume's pretty high up there. I'll say that right off the bat. It's cute.
I mean, I gotta say, I feel personally attacked with the glasses update, because that involves both Glasses Mordred and Glasses Medusa. I can't believe you've done this.
But
other than that, personally, Super Saiyan God Super Karna is pretty rad. But we do have, it's not the hoodie, but there is Tan Dereshkigal coming eventually.
If I have to, I'll pick 3, just because that's how I want to roll. And I'd have to say Heian-kyo Kintoki. I think that's a good look. I think it's really rad. What is the name? Actually, hang on. Let me go look this up real quick so I can just say the name.
I should be able to find it. I'm already in that list.
Shutens and Tomacats for Grail Live.
So Shutens is called Splendid Cherry Blossom Song, and Cat is Smiling Glory Day.
Yeah, those are the ones I think I dig the most.
The names, by the way, for those are really good. Like, some of them are obviously completely in English, like Eurali's is just Mirage, all lowercase. Whereas, Maeve's is formed like it's another NP she has. Hero My Love, My Dearest Antagonist. Thanks, Maeve.
Piercing Bunny would be my number 4, but I don't want to make it a full list.
We don't need to overcomplicate.
Yes.
It's a pretty sizable list. And hopefully, with the arcade collab, it will grow larger, because they are not averse to releasing large batches of costumes. And I do believe our last costume release was related to the story stuff for LOSTBELT 7, so it's going to have been several months. And then the last time they did costumes before that was summer.
I do think we are due for a few.
Holding some juice back. Even that juice.
They're charging the buster! But let us move on at this point. So, thank you very much for that. This next one comes from Dustin. Dustin, a.k.a. IRL Tezcatlipoca?
Yes.
Tezcatlipoca? Yeah! They say, hello, Omega and Lucky. As a JP player, I was wondering what your thoughts are on the current states of the FGO, JP, and the flag of content so far this year. As 2 individuals from the outside looking in, are you concerned about how North America might handle the dead time? Do you feel like player retention will be an issue once FGO NA reaches the same point? Thank you for the time, keep up the good work, and have a great day. Same to you. Now, I think it is interesting to point that JP is kind of in this weird dead zone of content, but honestly, it's one of those things where I personally am okay with having slow and low weeks in games, especially when I actually do play other gacha games. Like I said, I've been hitting the Nikkei pretty hard, the Blue Archive, the D-Child. FGO is basically lowest on my cumulative playtime. I usually just log in, maybe futz around a little bit to just check a few things and get out. Sometimes I don't even do that. I have missed several login days recently. But I think I've talked about this at length. The big appeal for FGO for me isn't the day-to-day grind that some other has. It's usually the story releases and events. FGO doesn't necessarily have enough to keep me engaged when we don't have big events going. I think this is one of the reasons why they are moving away from reruns and other stuff and not trying to put necessarily as much. I want to say they are using filler, but not like old filler. They want to give you new filler.
Yes, they want to give you stuff to do, because obviously they still want to make sure that they have a way to get you the resources you need to progress the game, but try to still give you some reason to check out that stuff, whether it's, login campaigns or other stuff. I think FGO understands that this is how they gotta stay competitive in the gacha sphere. Because there are a lot of mobile games that are shuttering,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think FGO's in any danger of that. Just speaking from the JV perspective, look at every single time they release a new servant people are interested in. They immediately go to, number one in sales for a weekend, and then they, peter back down.
Yes, I know. I mean, that, I believe, is FGO's income curve is they play it low and slow for a while, and then they hit you with something big, they spike in sales, and they drift down. And when we comes to the NA experience, well, first of all, our player retention has never been as good as JP's. We don't put out the same numbers. We really don't. And
you'll notice that in how our downloads campaigns are usually 2 or 3 million downloads apart.
Yes. But the thing is because there is a dedicated fandom, like Lucky's in the sunk cost policy now. I'm here till the game gives up the ghost. But we also have the somewhat fickle and sometimes unreliable, but still ever-present power of clairvoyance. We will know what events will be happening in 2 years in advance and plan accordingly for them. That kind of knowledge forearms us and lets us know what we can expect, and therefore we do not necessarily feel the full effects of getting blindsided with whatever JP does. That also gives people something to look forward to, and may incentivize them to hang out a couple years down the line. Like Lucky knows for a fact that in 2 years there'll be a Tiamat coming, so I'm like, it's time to sit pretty and wait. Let's go!
Yeah, clairvoyance might hurt, individual banner sales because the surprise factor is sucked out, but yeah, I think it really is, how FGO is going to keep its customer retention, because people are going to know what be happening. Mm. And obviously, even if they hit a conclusion in JP, there will still probably be, sunsetting period, They're not going to just be as much as Nasu wants to make us feel true despair or whatever, he is not in full control of this apparatus. I like to joke, it's not like he's going to take a fire axe to the servers when the story's over, So there's going to be a sunsetting period even when we hit the story conclusion to wrap up stuff, maybe give people plans to get extra banners, download your data, whatever, And we still got, at least 2 years of planned content left. Also, I'm pretty sure Nissan said that at least 4 years ago. So they had, plans up to year 10 several years ago. And that would assume that he has done no further planning since then. But yeah, this is what I referenced earlier when talking about us trying to figure out the schedule coming up for NA, right? This is where NA is always going to have a leg up in terms of scheduling on JP, just because we can't afford dead weeks in the front half of the year. Our anniversary, which has hard and fast deadlines of the Lucky Bag summons, which I believe generally, out loud, Albert has committed that they aren't going to do those early to mess with the rarities again. I'm pretty sure that was a statement he made out loud at a panel or something when asked about it. And in America, we already don't let Albert or anybody on the Aniplex staff get away with shit they said that they didn't even mean like that, God forbid something they straight up told us. But they have to get new SSRs out before our anniversary date. Otherwise, shit gets weird and people will get mad, and they will get very mad. So this means that we compress stuff a lot. Sometimes it's a pretty wild compression. I suspect this year's compression will probably look like that, considering that, as I said, the 3 releases of Lost Bolt 6 were like 3 months apart, basically one a month.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get a lot of that stuff a lot faster. And obviously, I think that will keep, FGO in the same way. And I suspect that it will be the same for this time period for NA in about 2 years. We've commented on this before. This was a big talking point when there was what seemed to be some sort of delay on the second half of Lost Belt 7, right? There was an intended time difference there. There was a cutoff, and then it lingered for a little extra long. It was like literally the last day of January they got it out. That probably won't happen over here. There may still be some break, but I expect they will probably have that, a little closer together, as intended, and spread out those banners for more banner and profit. Obviously, with JP switching to the 3-week schedule and doing, I won't say no reruns, because they did rerun Karna, Santa, but minimal reruns, I guess we'll pitch it, minimum possible reruns, and going to 3-week events, there will still be what feels like for hardcore players dead weeks, because there are already people who don't need 2 weeks to complete an entire event. Even with time locks, I know many lunatics who are done within the first week, or the first couple of days if there aren't time locks. So, the fact that those people, if you continue to play FGO at that pace, which, hey, I don't know your life, do your own thing, but if you continue to play FGO at that pace, yes, you're going to have dead weeks when the events go for 3 weeks. Other people, I know, usually have to do the entire event in, like, the last couple days because they're busy with other shit and haven't had time to wrap it up. And so they only check in when there's a deadline. With 3 weeks, they might actually be able to space that out a little bit better, log into FGO regularly, and not have to bum rush all the content at the last minute, Yeah. So, I have this person asks, am I concerned about how NA might handle the dead time? Technically, they said Handel is in the composer of the Messiah, but we'll let it pass.
I didn't say anything.
I just reread it to double check what they said and saw it, so I'm just like,
You outed them.
Oops. But, it's okay, I out myself all the time when I can't fucking speak or can't type. I told you guys earlier I misspelled MHXA, which is 4 letters. I put them in the wrong order. But I don't feel concerned about it because I know that we have to rearrange stuff by about a month to make our schedule work. And so usually we get more optimal spreads of time because we just don't have the time to kill, right? Like, obviously, right now, in FGO, we're in a little bit of a dead period in NA, right? We had rank up quests and some hunting quests that went by. We're in a pre-release to an event. And then I literally went through the calendar and was counting the weeks, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think we have any dead time coming up. We may even see some shit overlap, because we can't actually fit all the shit that JP did in the order JP did it before our anniversary. So, we're gonna get some crazy shit for the next couple of months. So it's probably gonna be like that going forward. Anything else you have to say about this, Lucky?
Nope, you've talked enough.
Okay.
Right, so thank you very much for that. We move on. This next one comes from a hunter refusing to take the bug drugs by a Spanish cult. Joke's on you, you're taking the bug drugs. Excuse me. Heyo, Condor 1 Omega and Baby Eagle Lucky. Wait, are you saying I am a 20-year-old white college girl with huge ballistics? Excuse you. I am not in college. I hope the two of you are ready for idols and tasty free costumes, and, well, I don't expect a lot of people rolling for Crane, but good luck to those who are. Anyways, I got one slight question. So I was listening to the Lost Belt 2 recap, and Lucky actually mentioned that he was starting to question pan-human histories as he saw the lives and stories of the people in the Lost Belts. So I want to ask you, Lucky, 5.5 Lost Belts in, do you still feel the same way? If you can't properly remember to answer, then just ignore this question. XD. I'm going to be a real hunter. I wish I did remember, but I do not. It was a very long time ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I technically listened to large sections of these recaps to edit them. I was not paying close attention to what we were saying because I was trying to audio edit. I also don't remember exactly what you said, and like I said, literally listened to this earlier this week.
I'm trying to think. I am genuinely trying to think what one would mean by pan-human history, and I was questioning it. Hunter, do you have any quick context maybe that might jog my memory?
I'm pretty sure at some point in the two, because we did it in 2 episodes, I stitched together from 2. I know that we were debating, like, Lost Belts are full of the question of, like, who's real and who's not, who or what counts as being prunable. Are these people real? Stuff like that. But I don't remember exactly how we were phrasing it at the time.
I do see them. They are a gold level or higher patron, so they are typing. So maybe they will explain a bit. I do have fresh ideas based on what I know and have seen. I do not know if that's necessarily what they mean, though.
And who knows? Check out the recaps because you will get to see our thoughts not evolve in real time, but evolve in like speed time. You get to see a time lapse of our opinions.
Oh yes. Well, okay. In that sense, yes, my thoughts have changed because I'm gonna tell you right now. I think our main FGO storyline right now, as is going to be a prune timeline. It humanity has not been right for since this has started, and I find it really fucking weird.
The Earth has been melted for a long time.
Yeah, we do not know how actually the Earth has been bleached and the effect that's had in humanity.
Shit, I hope we don't pass quantum time lock. That's gonna make this very awkward.
No, I'm pretty sure. This is my theory. My theory of how this ends is we have to go back and somehow make a singularity back in Fuyuki and fucking turn that into a Lost Belt and win the 2004 Holy Grail War and stop Marisbury forever getting this plan into fruition. Because I'm of the personal opinion that Gatia was only able to start his plan because Chaldea was able to observe the distortions, and through observing the distortions, allowed them to become real. I know it's really fucking weird, but it seems like the fucking mind gas and the Nazi would try to break.
There's definitely some weird shit, and if we don't actually do any time travel, what would be the point of it all,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just gonna have to see, because obviously... Was that on mic?
So, right now, I don't think any of this history is right.
Well, yeah, there's no one to observe. Well, actually, I guess... No, are we even observing? I guess we do have the paper moon to observe, but we don't really spend a lot of our time in story observing the actual blanched surface of the Earth. We mostly hunt down singularities, which still happen, and then other stuff. What I was debating on earlier there, to give context, was I don't remember if this discussion was had on air or not, so forgive me if I'm reiterating something, but I believe we recently had a discussion with some people in our Discord about... Yeah, no, this was just a Discord conversation. About basically the branding and marketing of parts and what exactly Ordeal Call is. And specifically, Ordeal Call is marketed, it has the logo for Fate Grand Order, Cosmos and the Lost Belt, Ordeal Call. So it is a subpart of the Part 2 story that we are now dealing with. So I believe that means, and obviously, no spoilers in chat for people who are not reading along. I know quite a few people on the internet who make a lot of assumptions about Lost Belt story stuff based on, translations and assumptions they've read, and sometimes that stuff is just not correct. But I assume that means that stuff is going to happen at the end of Lost Belt 7 so that the thing we are doing doesn't actually end this process, and it doesn't fix the Earth, which I know you and I, Lucky, have been talking about how we weren't actually really sure how stopping all the Lost Belt trees was going to unfuck the Earth. And so I, think there will be future content to develop there. So we'll have to see how when we get to the end of Lost Belt 7 and then into the actual, whatever the structure of Ordeal Call is. Probably, story releases and shit, permanent stuff.
Yes, because I do understand from Ordeal Call that we can currently not get back. I will put it that way.
Yes, we're still stuck in a transitional period.
Yes. But from what I understand, because I will say, Lucky does spoiler himself, because sometimes I need to understand context of things, otherwise I'm going to be completely fucking lost. Just don't fucking spoil me yourself, or I will get mad. So I understand a bit of what's going on, but the gist that I understand is that I've had this theory for a while. See, now I'm getting into weird waters, so it's hard for me to explain it. But I've always had this weird feeling that something was wrong with Marisbury, and that he exited the stage way too quick for this story, and everything seems to start at the 2004 Grail War where he won. So I'm willing to bet that that's where all the source of this problem actually started, and Gatia and all those other ones are just taking advantage of that. So if we actually want to solve this problem and do not end up into a prune earth situation, which I think we are heading into because shit's fucked right now.
Yeah. Earth's still melted. Last I checked.
Earth's still melted. We need to go back there and fix it. How? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we try to make our own LOSTBELT. Maybe we try to do a singularity. Maybe we do a combination of the two. And we activate fusion.
And, hypothetically, there's nothing stopping the technology that makes the LOSTBELT works from making a proper human history, right? It's just that the alien god was looking for weird, specific stuff in timelines, right? But what the trees actually do, like LOSTBELT 5-ish spoilers, everybody, if you're not caught up somehow. But what we found out the trees do is that the trees simulated those timelines from the points they were pruned until the modern day, and did, simulate some of the oddball effects as well. Like, there were records, of Shinshi-Wong conquering the planet and stuff, actually doing some legwork, But they simulated up to the point where it hit the present and then kind of, spun out those virtual events and virtual people into a real texture to cover the Earth. And that texture could permanently be planted there when the tree was fully mature. So, strictly speaking, there's nothing saying we couldn't go to 04 or go to 2017? 2018? What year did LOSTBELT start in JP? I don't remember. 20-something. 20XX. There's nothing saying we couldn't go to those points and use the tree technology of the alien god to just simulate proper human history and, unfutz everything.
Like that. That's
So
my theory.
There's a lot of time shenanigans to go in there. 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is my thought on current human history, is that we are not actually proper human history at all.
Because there's no fucking human history. We've been doing this for, like I said, this is a thing that LOSTBELTs has been very vague about how much time is actually passing. What year is it? Insert your GIF here. And we probably talked about this. We'll see if it comes up in future recaps, but I believe Lucky and I have brought up a couple of times that whatever the fuck happened with Marsbury is pretty weird. Especially considering, doesn't the Babylonian anime, the episode 0, doesn't that imply he committed suicide?
Oh.
Somebody confronted him in his room and he was just like, well, you can't stop me. I'll do it myself. Nothing can stop me. Bang. I don't know. We'll have to see. Yeah, he drew his own gun, so there's just fucking... He's still a confusing point, and, it would be a lot simpler if he was still here so we could ask him what the fuck is happening. What he meant here. Because I don't know if it's all his fault, per se, but because the motherfucker's dead, we can't ask him anything, so he can't explain himself. And I would like him to explain himself. Thank you very much.
Please explain. But, yeah, no, so...
Look forward to our future thoughts on stuff happening as stuff goes on in the recaps.
Well, again, this is why I think we need to go back to 2004 and get answers. And I consider how nice Nasu likes to write things, and I consider where all the fucking plot threads are. And believe it or not, most of the plot threads are back in 2004.
That's when Kyrie allegedly died, as in the Rasputin Kyrie. And, that would turn us into a very interesting dovetail, because if we went back in time to 04, you know who we would see there? Solomon.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure that would be our final boss. We would actually have to fight Marsbury and Solomon. And I think that'd be an amazing twist.
Also, speaking of which, what the fuck happened with Gatia? What the fuck is that guy doing? What's he doing with his time? Is he still wearing a hood?
Probably.
Fucker.
So, with that though, I know I kind of rambled through that a bit. I did not necessarily have I've had this thought rattling around in my head for a little bit. Like I said, I do theory crafting on my own. I just don't go share it to the world often enough because I don't like it when people force their theories on me, so I don't try to do it on them. But if you ask me a question about it, I do usually have stuff. So I hope you guys will take my theory with a grain of salt, but maybe a modicum of sugar, and we will move on.
Full of sugar makes the medicine go down. I know, I'm not Julie Andrews.
Oh, well, with that, let us move on. This next one comes from Agent 418. Thank you, Legendary, for taking it with all the sugar. It's my favorite current theory right now, and I want people to be like, no, that's cool. But this next one comes from Agent 418, who is unfortunately not the bottom one this time. I cry. They say, hello, Lucky and Omega, sending good vibes, wah 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 wah, and hope both have a good weekend. Same to you, my dude. Same to you. P.S. Things such as space and time won't prevent me from being in my rightful place at the bottom of the mailbag. Oof.
Well, I don't know. Because there was an edit on this. That might have moved it up. I don't know.
It might have.
We still don't know how YouTube configurates these.
We really don't.
Sorry. I was reading ahead to the next one, and their PS killed me.
Whew. All right. Well, let's get there. So thank you very much for that. We move on. This next one comes from King of Apples, who has finally escaped the Area 51 with the official list of grand servants. Question.
FBI are en route as we speak.
Question. The Throne of Heroes is supposed to be outside the flow of time. Are there other places / for phenomena like that? Why or why not? P.S. 1 page minimum and must use persuasive voice. Oh, man. How many words is, 1 page?
God, I don't remember. It depends on your typeface. It's usually a couple hundred.
I think I can squeeze out a couple hundred words. I did used to write college papers. Persuasive voice, huh? What is a persuasive voice? I guess I can use my speech voice, which I've been kind of using this entire time.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Discord, my name is Lucky, and I will be presenting to you my research on Fate Grand Order, Phenomenons of Other Worlds. This was brought to me by someone who was very, very interested in this subject, and I feel it is my duty to properly enunciate what I know. As we do know, the texture of this world, the normal time and space, is where everyone lives, and the things such as the Throne of Heroes exist outside known time and space. This is through the efforts of the collective unconsciousness of humanity named Alea, which does not actually have a physical form and does not actually exist in any known space, but rather as an intangible force of nature. We could get into the necessary details about this, but I feel that would be deriding from the point of this question, which was, are there any others? Right off the top of my head, I can tell you there is one that springs immediately to the top of my mind, and should to the rest of yours as well, and that is the reverse side of the world. The reverse side of the world is also another texture of the planet, but unlike it, does not actually exist on the planet. The reverse side of the world is a remnant of the Age of Gods and other such eras where magic was abundant and free, and is now the home and refuge for all sorts of magical creatures such as fairies, dragons, spirits, and ghosts of all kinds, and such personages as Tiamat and Merlin. Yes, it is said that the island of Avalon currently exists on the reverse side of the world. Now, necessarily why it exists over there has never been really explained. Unfortunately, Nasu does not actually put a lot of detail in things unless someone points a gun at him, usually someone like Takeuchi or maybe, Gen Urabuchi. But we do know that because it does not actually exist on Earth, as it says, it does not have to play necessarily to the same sort of rules that we, as humans, enjoy regularly. This can be seen as for such instances as Tiamat, who is known to be just slumbering, but yet has no sense of time as to her slumber. I do believe Merlin actually is more aware of the slumber time because he is to put it politely, a bit of a voyeur and likes to peek on humanity constantly. So he's probably more in time. Actually, it could be interesting to say, the reverse side of the world could actually be, wibbly wobbly with it all, that stuff. Unfortunately, I have just now run out. I can't think of anything else to say. I don't know if that was a page.
It's probably 100 words. It's fine.
Sick.
The reverse side is interesting. There's the sea of imaginary numbers. There's also where you first said something everyone should be familiar with, because it is technically the name of part 1. But this is an important one. The Timeless Temple of Solomon. Literally outside of time.
Yeah, but technically, isn't that destroyed?
It should be, but they do show us pictures of that fucking chair, so I don't know. If it's outside of time, is it always destroyed or is it never destroyed?
I don't want to think about that.
No, it's too much.
I don't know what y'all thought of my persuasive voice.
Everything was perfectly fine. You should have ended it with, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I should have. Everyone, thank you coming for my TED Talk. Too late, but
hey, it's the thought that counts. Also, people, I apologize if it doesn't end up edited out, but if you can occasionally hear strange cardboard shuffling noises, in order to help me keep my mouth shut, I give myself a fidget device, which is I'm just constantly shuffling my deck of tarot cards, some of which may be picked up by the microphone. Ace of Swans.
So that's that. I hope you enjoyed that.
Let us know
if you actually told me to write one, I could. But so we will move on to the final one. Thank you very much for that. And this last one comes from Goose. who says, question, favorite idol costume? Have a snazzy day. No, you get the snaz. And the answer to your question is, again, Tomacat. Tomacat number 1, Shuten coming in at number 2.
I think Ushi's is my favorite, but I'm going to have to consider them in some kind of event-based format where I get to look at all of them. Right, that's that.
That is that. That is the end of the mailbag. Thank you everyone so much for giving all those lovely submissions, and I hope that next week we will have even more. Yay.
Alrighty, well, that's almost it for our entire show.
Almost, but not quite.
Though we have managed to, with all our rampant speculation and theorizing, make it to about an hour and a half raw. I do have a couple bits of normal business to go with. Obviously, we have mentioned I am still continuing to do our Lost Belt recap series, best of compilations, just taking our popular Lost Belt conversations and clipping them and splicing them together with a new editing pass. So keep your eyes peeled for those. One of them came out already. Two of them came out already, technically. One of them came out this past week on Friday. I'll probably try and continue to release those on Friday, the same day that we record these Let's Check FGOs. Kind of put everything together, keep you in mind. And as I said on that episode, and have said there previously, let me know if you guys do want to maybe see or hear the hypothetical track, just the weird edit I make of just what I cut out, because normally I just smash the delete key, but I could technically be dumping that all into a separate project file in Audacity, which I would probably just try and capture with OBS so you can also see the sound waves. Have a very distinct sound wave. It's, got a big on the and then it kind of rounds out into the these little tail on the shit like that. So that's one to keep in mind. If you think this episode is too short, you can check that out. You can check out our upcoming What's Up stream live every Saturday. After Let's Check
I have
public.
no idea what to stream, by the way.
Whatever you like. Stellaris? That's fine.
I don't know if Stellaris is entertaining for people, though.
I mean, admittedly, you did a hot swap, but the episode where you streamed it last, after your internet stopped exploding, that one did okay in views, so I don't think it hurt anything.
Okay, so listen, I am on a quest to feed the fucking galaxy, and I do find it slightly interesting.
And sometimes Stellaris has dead time, which can make thinky thoughts easier. But check out What's Up. As you may have heard in previous things on our channel, but to remind everybody, because these get our mostest views, there's no AP this previous week. There should be one of this upcoming week. Last week, Dallas was sick with bronchitis and thus was not able to make it to game.
I might ask people if they're willing to game a little longer on.
We can try.
Sunday.
I got all my stuff prepped. We're good to go. We're hot to try. We can try and do some catch-up. We'll have to see what everybody's schedules are like, though. You never know with people. We all got lives and stuff to do. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you want to catch up on stuff we've already done, we've streamed several times this week. There were 2 Resident Evil 4 remake streams. Lucky has defeated Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yay!
There was also a Final Fantasy XIV stream, getting very close to the end of Heaven's Word. Those of you who know will know the emotional suffering I am in. But we also got other stuff. I got to talk to some goblins. There was a library, and then there was also Pain. And there was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Failed Betrayal. Though I'm sure you guys will be much more excited for the one upcoming this next week, because we're finally going to get started on that World Legacy. Speaking of which, there's a Failed Betrayal poll on Patreon. I will remind you to check that out. But more importantly, there's a Fanservant Friday poll, and there's less than 24 hours left on this. As of the time you hear this, and also when you hear this live to the public. But obviously, patrons can look in there first. So, unless some of you decide to intervene in the next several hours, which I don't expect, because it's already got 15 votes, so doing pretty good. Our winner this month will be King Laokan Berserker.
Hell yeah!
Hashtag April is for werewolves. Even though last time in the comments people were resistant, I'm going to double down. Hashtag release the cut. Hashtag April is for werewolves. I might actually put the tags for this video. It's not like it'll hurt anything. We'll be the only video with those tags. Or won't we? God, if I were to fucking load up YouTube and fire up the tags and I, type in hashtag April is for werewolves and I see some of the videos, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? Well, we'll see. That happens after I finish uploading the video, which happens after I finish editing the video, which won't happen until we finish recording the video, which will be right about now-ish, actually. Because I don't have any other future business. Keep your eyes peeled, as I said, for that Wanted Miss Crane, if you like your classic Japanese fairy tales and folk stories.
It is the most classic.
Yes, actually, funnily enough. Yeah. There's Wikipedia sources. I looked through several folkloric sources. Return of the Crane's Favor is considered like one of the best known and most popular ones.
Yes.
So,
listen, there's jokes abound about someone returning a favor, and they always harken back to it. Always.
So yeah, keep your eye out for that one. I've got the script and the assets done. I haven't recorded that script yet, but it shouldn't be too long of a one. It's a pretty simple story to relate in the plot structure. So it should flow together pretty well. So keep your eyes out for that. And that's really all I got to say. So if the people are ready to go home, and by the people I mean Lucky.
That's me. I'm ready.
All right, well, let's wrap it up then. Hope you all had a pleasant week of Let's Talk FGO. Hope to see you next time for more. If you like this video, be sure to smash that like button.
Oh, smash.
Do people still say that? I don't know. Smash it anyway, for old times. Leave your comments down below. Sorry if I blew out anybody's ears. I was suddenly yelling. It's the enthusiasm. It's important, I think. Enthusiastically, leave a comment. Enthusiastically, join our Discord. People do still say smash. Okay, so smash the like button. Leave a comment. Join our Discord. Make sure to subscribe for more. And if you're unsubscribed, make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you know when we post new videos or streams, including that Wanted and other stuff, like those best-ofs. You can also join our channel membership to get access to membership badges and emotes. Those emotes can be displayed on our comments, our community page, and during our live streams, all kinds of places. It also helps us out. And, like I said long ago at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to the audio version of this episode and all of our other content that has audio versions for as little as $1 a month or about $10 a year. At higher levels, you can access to polls like Fanservant Friday, early releases of Wanted videos, and lots of other goodies. And at higher levels, you can listen to Let's Talk FGO get recorded live every single week. You can join the Peanut Gallery and yell stuff at my brain and act as my double secret backup brain. Double secret backup brain. Did I forget anything?
No.
Nobody typed anything. We're good. All right, that's all I have to say. Good night and good luck, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.